My name's AnnMarie Price, and I am your host for today's second podcast. This is a place where people in the second act of their life can come together to talk, laugh, pray about everything this stage of life has to throw at us. So please help me welcome my guests today. We're on location in Jax Beach. Kelly Abel, Caroline Smith, and Lauren Bachman. Now, she is a returner. She's actually my original guest.
I don't think it counts. I don't think it counts.
If you think
It has to.
what it counts for you?
Didn't count for me.
What?
I mean, on film is on film.
What? Okay.
I'm sorry.
Richard,
And until that,
Don't
Brewery. I think we're gonna get there.
And so we are on our every other year women's retreat, and we've been doing it for, I guess this is like the 10th time,
Probably.
upwards of 10. And you know, this episode is all about celebrating friendships through decades, right? So some of us have been, I guess, 13 years to 20 plus years that we've been friends and doing life together. And we've done this weekend for so long. I just thought it would be a really fun time to just explore what is friendship in midlife. So before we jump in, I always start with rapid fire questions. Okay.
Who are you record?
So anyone can be gonna have to be like,
Is this a competition? I'm not gonna.
everything's a competition. Just kidding.
Who can answer the most to the fastest?
Okay. When going on a date with your husband, do you choose a romantic candlelit dinner or Netflix and pizza? What's your go-to?
Doing something.
Doing
Like
something.
an activity.
I would
and
have
then-
said like a sporting.
Well, yeah, like we could go ride bikes at the beach, or we go play tennis. We do play a lot of tennis,
Mhm.
and then go to dinner afterward. Usually, his main preference is that we do something. Plus, he could. That's
So
surprising. Definitely not the Netflix and pizza.
Sure.
Opposite.
Sure.
I have to answer again.
No, you don't.
Okay.
Do you have any?
Pull on the pallet. Or to go.
When going on a trip, do you pack your full closet or do you travel alone?
Whole closet.
For sure. I'm not saying closet.
Through everything that.
Because you know, I want to pack it. I want to be that person that has everything planned out. I don't for anything, but only takes like
That's what it's a dream, but that's not reality.
But the reality is, I don't think that far enough. It's not even that. I just like so many things. I can't pare it down.
I don't know what I'm gonna.
How could you possibly know?
Too much pressure.
I think that would have been easier. Not when. Okay. So, like, as a young person, I could go shopping and love everything. You know what I mean? Wait. I could put together everything now. Not so much. Okay. Yeah.
I love that.
Hear that. Where are you finding joy in midlife?
I just think of Ray Pop. Does this for me too?
And if it doesn't, darn
Darn
it. Yes. I think things. It can be a cup of coffee, getting my nails done, conversation with a friend, a sunset. Really, I can drive by and like at something else and just appreciate it for what it is because it's so busy, you know. So I have to like get it.
Yeah.
And I try to point it out to my kids. Like, look at the sunset. Look at the moon. Look at. I think I texted to several people. My daughter, it was so sweet. You know, just sweet.
I love that so much.
Yeah. What has been your favorite vacation?
In my family, I think for my family, which does stem from me though. Because, we do a trip every year.
Yeah.
And we did it when my youngest was 2. So we did it for many years in a row, like either October to November-ish. And then we took a little bit of a break because, you know, school schedules got in the way and things like that, growing families. But then it was my children, my grown adult children that were like, when are we going to go back? And so now we've continued. And so the highlight of our year, and I would say probably everybody in my family would.
Oh, that's really special.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I have it in memory.
What is your bucket list vacation?
Just kind of,
A
there's
bucket list.
so much. Like, we just want to go see like the western sides.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's so much between all the national parks and woods, going up and down like Northern California coast, all the way. You know what I mean? There's just so much that we haven't really done in so long time. It's really necessarily skiing, things like that out west. They would be more like spring, summer, early fall trips time of year to go hike and do and be and stand on the top of massive things and just go.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yes. Yes. I second that. What is one new skill or hobby you've always wanted to learn?
I would say like an instrument for me. I have a very musical family, but Dan and I've never, we don't play instruments. We don't do anything, but all three of our kids.
Do you have a one in mind?
I would probably go for piano. Yeah. Just because once you learn piano, then you can do anything.
Sure.
But yeah, I think that would be
It's pretty versatile.
quite challenging and not like,
Anyway. I would love to be fluent in a language.
That is.
Yeah. What is one way you stay connected with your kids, grandkids?
one way we stay connected.
Sports is big for us in our house with boys, and Mark and I are super active. And I mean, the most obvious, easy thing is just all things like college football and NFL. Just the boys love it. Our oldest is sports trivia. He was like, so just current events with sports, what's going on with athletes, things like that. We talk about. And I'm watching. So that's super.
We've been doing Sunday dinners. So my daughters are both near me, so that was kind of their idea as well. And so, because I remember my childhood, I went to my grandma's every Sunday for dinner. My whole gigantic family. And our son is in Boston, so it's a little bittersweet because I wish he could be a part of it, but there's times where he'll FaceTime it.
Oh,
We're out there. That's something that we're doing right now. Check in, even though we see them often and we talk often, different time when we are all together. We
That's really special. There's something about like centering your on Sunday before
Great.
the week starts. Weekends now are just as busy as weekdays. Really, if you don't protect it, it's gone. And so we have kind of like wound back the busyness of Sundays on purpose to be home or around. And we're not like, you can't do anything. It's not that kind of thing. But whether we go out to eat, whether we cook at home, whether we're watching a football game, all fall, like just that time on Sunday seems to just set a tone for the week that I appreciate it.
Yeah.
The rhythm.
What is your go-to stress relief?
Tennis.
I would say working.
I'm so sorry. I don't. Yeah, I know. I'm probably just talking to a friend. I don't know if I had to think about it. That's. So one more. What is one piece of advice you would give your 20-something self?
I was
Just
going to say,
relax.
everything is so
Down.
important.
We have a saying in our family, it's not that deep.
Yeah.
My kids have started saying it now. It's just like a saying, it's that deep. And for me, like, I mean, there's layers to what that means, right? But it's just critical. The things that we held so tight and so important, I thought if I did it perfectly right, it wasn't.
I would say enjoy the present, like the season you're in, because you're like waiting to graduate to the first job, waiting to get married, waiting to, all the things that you anticipate of like arriving. That doesn't ever happen. the same. And so I'm just enjoying the season you're in. Like, enjoy even when the kids are little. I try to tell, like, you only get to be 9 months. That's it. Yeah. And I was one of those kids. I wanted to be older. I wanted to get to the next season. Even when I had my first baby, I want to get home, see how this unfolds itself. Like, let's go.
Sweet.
So, like I said, this episode is about friendships through decades, right? And culminating in this one retreat. It used to be yearly, now it's every other year. Jax Beach, through a prayer ministry that we have done Bible study together for 10 years, right? So in thinking about that, because you guys have been friends for so long, we've been friends for so long, when you think back on how these friendships started, what do you remember who you were then?
This was the hard one. So I feel a little bit removed of, I'm just the older one. I've always felt like the older one. So even then I felt like the older one. So when I met the majority of the women that got me here involved and who are my closest people, I anywhere from 5 to 10 years older than them. So I felt like I was always just one little step ahead. So like I was the first one to have kids, and so it's just that, and it's kind of remained that way. So like when I go back to think about like who I was, like I'm still kind of there. Like not that I haven't grown, not that way, but like it's kind of still like I'll ask the question, why are you different than me? What does that say about me? But yeah, I think though that it was good for me because it really kind of stretched me because I knew there was some mentorship involved in, right? Them watching me with my kid. At the same time, there was this beautiful, became my family. So, probably kind of thought it all together. And I learned just as much from them. So kind of having up there for the majority.
Yeah. And there's something about growing older and the maturity, like realizing, oh, I really don't have it all together.
Yeah.
Like the older you get, the more you are aware.
Oh yeah.
It becomes more clear.
It becomes more clear.
I feel like I was just, I was definitely way more carefree because I didn't have kids. Mark and I were newly married, going into this like group that turned out to be like our people. And we didn't have any kids yet. We were married. We both worked. We had free time. We had a lot that we do not have these days. And so I think just like carefree. So I was just ready for whatever. I was ready to handle. I am in my marriage. I am the more social, outgoing one, and so I was good with let's till 2 in the morning, like whatever. I'll get up and go to work. It's not a big deal. Or like with Kel's kids, they were young at the time and fun. So just being a fun aunt, just like playing games with the kid, like it just. I look back at that version of me, and I really didn't have nearly what I would call just the responsibility, burdens of life that I have 20 plus years later,
Yeah.
just layers of life, layers of time and stuff. So, Mark and I wanted to go out to eat, we wanted to eat. We wanted to go play golf, we played golf. If we wanted, like, it just was just what everyone kind of wanted. So,
What do you think, Caroline?
I entered the picture as a young mom. Back to Florida, place for us, new city, new chair. And that's kind of what I entered in. New mom, so I was ready for connection. We have had a solid people in Connecticut, and I know I thrive. And so it was an easy transition.
Sweet. So how do you think your friendship has changed in midlife, like to your point of thinking about how that you were carefree, how do you think that's more entering midlife and the responsibilities that come with it?
We have to be, I have to be way more intentional
Yes.
Yeah.
about finding time to spend with people that I care a ton about. But and you add layers as the years go on. And I work now full time, and I have for quite a while, but full time with high school age kids. There's sports involved, and I have a husband that I want to hang out with him too, and we have our own hobbies that we're trying to pursue. So before you know it, the week is full and time is full. So I think it's much more intentionality and prioritizing people that refresh me and fill me up and recognizing what I need. Like I'm drained, I'm running on empty, need to go laugh and be at dinner or lunch with a couple of friends that will kind of help fill my cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think maybe discerning isn't a good word, but I can't think of another word. I'm more discerning about how I spend my time now because there's not as much. So in relation to like friendships, the intentionality, discernment, right? Like, yeah. I think I'm with less time, you have to be more focused and intentional for sure. Yeah.
And I want to say yes to everything.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
just wired that way.
Yeah.
So like I've learned because I've said yes to a lot of things and then been exhausted and burnt out, you know what I mean? Or my family got the leftovers of me instead of like the best of me. And then working it the other way, right? So there's been a lot of trial and error, what yeses are the right yeses and be comfortable saying no. That's I'm comfortable to say no. That's our work this week. First.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I'm assuming it kind of is extrapolating, but like you are the most popular person at church.
I'm gonna stop it. She lied.
If it's so man, and these are the lines your own. Anyway. So like church celebrity. Yeah, it should. Yes. 100%. So I'm sure that extrapolates to all like areas of your life. Yeah, you have to be like, more intentional with this. Yeah.
So sweet couple.
These standards.
Yeah. So what do you think it needs to be known about each other right now? Because, when you're young and young kids or no kids, it's easy to be known, right? Because that time. So what do you think it looks like now to truly feel that you are investing in those relationships and you feel known and you know?
So I would say I feel like when I was younger, it was easy to be available. I don't know that I felt known the way I feel known today.
Oh.
Today I feel known partly because of just time, right? Time in relationship, life happening, walking into this weekend, right? We all come, we don't all go to the same church anymore. All go to our kids aren't at the same school, live in the same towns anymore. And at times those were really far apart and they're getting closer back together. And so life has taken us a lot of different places, but there is something about decades of friendship that you walk in and it's just safe and you're just known. So like whatever's on my heart, I don't have to explain it with any like give 12-page backstory. You know what I mean? It just is. And so I think there's a big difference.
Just already know because you are being intentional with the relationships. You walk into the room and it's just, it happened this morning. Like there was just, I can be vulnerable with these people. I don't have to build a rapport again. I don't have to warm up. It's just like, okay, here it is. And I'm going to say it. And it's a safety, it's a security. I know you're just going to listen, not necessarily even, you don't have to say anything, but that's because there's a foundation there that has taken a lot of time and a lot of work and intentionality.
In tears.
Just be real. Just be real.
I think like I was thinking about like early days when I first met Caroline and stuff. It's like you trust someone a little bit and it goes well. And you're like, oh, that was nice. That was an easy conversation. Like, let's chat again and let's go again. And then you trust them a little bit more. And so you build that for now. a decade and a half, 2 decades, you have built, to Kel's point, this foundation that is,
Yeah. She's a great example. You and I, you know, but we see each other once a year. That's going to change. But it really was like once a year. I haven't known you as long as they've known you. But yet I could come here today and I have no problem opening my heart to you. Like so there's also this unique, character trait in you that I just know, like, you're a safe person for me. Yeah. I don't have to talk to you every day. I don't have to ask Lauren how you're doing. Like, 'cause I know when I see you, I can ask all the questions and you can ask me all the questions. We're just going to be real with each other. And there's no, I feel uncomfortable with sharing this or.
That too, like you said, that character, because we don't, because we live in different cities, even the Florida people, so our kids really know each other. This brother, this family, kids, but the safety of knowing Lord has your hearts and your stories, I can connect the dots so quickly. I feel like I'm let in space really is a privilege. Like I really see it as a privilege. And like all the people in St. Augustine know, like, oh, this is very like they roll. Yeah, really sweet. That vulnerability and that trust, that's just, there's no like fakeness. We don't, friends we've ever been.
Me and I'm not gonna get you for like this amount of time. So like we don't have time to the surface. Like we just gotta go for it. We gotta be
All the words, yeah. And so my next question that kind of leads into it. It's a good segue, I think, through just decades of intentionality friendship, but especially this weekend and the Bible study that this ministry runs has been integral for me in that safety of vulnerability and allowing myself to actually dig deep and the willingness to be like, okay, if you really want to know me, then here we go. Like, are you sure? So like, but this weekend and this ministry has been pivotal for me to be able to feel safe in that through just the enveloping of God's love and washed in gospel, like truth, right? Okay, if the gospel is true, then I'm going to tell you who I am. Right. Like, but so, what has this retreat meant to y'all? I think, like, what has been special about this retreat? Why do we keep coming back?
For me, it was so in a lot of ways. I lived in Michigan for 14 years. All of Bible study and all that happened after I was gone. I didn't attend on a regular basis. I went to 1 or 2 or 3 tops, So I got to sit under some of the teaching and be in the atmosphere. And then even like you said, 10 years we've been doing this. I haven't been doing this for 10 years. But again, it goes along with I've seen it work in your lives.
Yeah.
You talk about like what's going on, and you guys have been very forthright with of how transforming it really has, and like breaking down walls, things that we used to believe that aren't necessarily true, and then but I get to be a product of those conversations, and so of course I'm like, well, yeah, I want to go, and then it was like, oh, I can go like to this particular event, with the retreat, and then when I was in to come, it wasn't really to even sit under that teaching. It was I just want to be with my friend.
Yeah.
This is another way I can foster these relationships. And again, it's very different. You people are special to me in a way that it's never going to be replaced. And I'm not trying to replace it, but it's, I knew I could come into it and be welcomed, feel safe and secure. And it didn't matter if I was a consistent member of or a part of the ministry. It was literally just to be the people, and that I know that are going to hold my arms up. It's very different for me of my motivation of the why this weekend. So
I think obviously we share a common faith in the common faith in the work of Christ on our behalf, on the depth of grace, on the transforming power of the Holy Spirit, right? Like there are these boulders that we all, and then we started going to these Bible studies, like, right, still just in a thirst of like, I grow, I meet more people, you know what I mean? And so I think it's just been, our hearts were right for what this para ministry had for us at that time. And we came in with hearts like wanting to see and grow and know, and the Lord was doing a lot in each of us individually.
Yeah.
Again, different churches, different routines, different lots of things, but same gospel, right? Like same God. So I think it's Tim Keller. Well, I know it's Tim Keller. I'm probably going to botch it, but he has one of his many quotes. One is that sticks with me, and it reminds me of this particular ministry and our time here. To be loved and not known is flattering, but it lacks, you know. To be known and not loved is our deepest fear, right? But to be fully known, fully loved is what Christ offers us, right? Like that is the thing that's unique in the gospel. And I think that is a pillar of what this ministry is about. Like, you are fully known, you are fully loved, and there's a freedom when it begins to peel away layers. We've all learned bad things. We all have bad habits. I play tennis. I pick up bad habits all the time, really quickly, right? And then I get in matches. What am I doing? Like, I know how to hit a forehand, but for some reason, because we just pick up all these little things. Well, we do that spiritually too. And so it feels, for me, this is one of the things God's used in my life in the last decade to help chip away some of those bad habits in my understanding of the gospel, my understanding of God's care. This helps chip away some of that stuff. And
well, it's interesting too, because I remember when some of us started going to the Bible study, and then I was invited, and I remember, I think it was Aaron who said, was grown more in this Bible study than I have my whole Christian walk. You need to come.
You said that.
Okay, I have to be.
Yeah.
So went to the same church tree or so. Like, I have to be there. What is this all about? And then kind of this ministry teaching that vulnerability to show up with your messes as you, and again, kind of like you said, chipping away at the habits, at the legalism we grew up with, and the, just the false pretenses that the enemy fools us with, and to show up and be filled with truth, and to do that as friends with, it's really unique. I didn't think about it until you question. But it was really sweet. Like, the ministry had an integral part, even outside of it, you were part of it because friendship.
Yeah.
And the transformation that was happening through that. Yeah. It really taught me how to be vulnerable.
Oh,
Right?
oh yeah,
yes.
Messy.
messy.
Yeah. Messy. And like, I'm messy because that's all God's got. Like, bring it. You know what I mean?
It's really
Right. We all have, we call them Raina-isms, but we have them etched in our brains because they taught us how to be vulnerable, how to be fully loved,
how to allow ourselves to.
Yes.
Because I mean, there's an element of the willingness, right? The courage, the willingness to allow that someone to enter to our mess.
But I think that's part of the overflow way, friendships, the way that they.
And I know where to go, and I know it. And it's not this week,
Which is
a whole lot more of the time, and then one weekend every other year. But I know where to go. I know who to text. I know who to have lunch with or coffee with. Rolling in my own mess me usually, and so that's the thing. Part of the point, help have walked that with us in friendship, and just the Lord's just been taking us down similar paths with a lot of different life circumstances, a lot of different relationships, a lot of suffering, a lot of hard things that happened to each of us in different seasons. Yes, and there's
we have I don't need the exclusive. And so as much as we talked about this morning, as much as we hate it,
it's forged in suffering too, but I need this truth. I need the raw gospel when everything feels awful.
Yeah.
You guys are the ones that give it to me. And the few other that are not like sitting around shaking like them is there's just a group. And it's a sweet gift. And the older I get, the more I appreciate it.
Oh,
the more I granted
absolutely. And to your point, the uniqueness and the rarity, I think, I don't know if everyone gets to experience, right? And as much as I would love to be in solid community with everyone, probably more than I am, I really do appreciate that I have it when I need it.
Yeah.
Right?
I came across them, like when we moved, it's just different cultures, right? And different, I mean, Florida is very different than Michigan, but
What do you mean?
Not just weather-wise, but mostly weather-wise and the sunshine. But there, I don't know if it was just the season of time and all of that, but I just know that women were if I talked about friendship and what it meant to me or the friendships that I have and a lot of times well they're not even here, like proximity, and I was like no they're not, like if somebody asked me who my to-go girl was, I'm like like, well, they're down in Florida, especially when I first moved there. And so I came to realize, like, wow, this is hard for women. Nothing hard for us. And it took time, like I said, and it took work and all of that. But like, I think it's hard for women to have those connections over many years, especially. So I was like blown away with like, oh, not everybody has, like, okay, like we gotta sit in that for a minute.
And I think to your point of like when you were younger, or I think it was, what would you tell your 20-something self? You have to be perfect or whatever. I think I can speak for women. I think we feel we do need to be perfect. And there's an element of like not wanting to be known because you don't want to seem like a mess. Right. So then because you give off this persona, you really don't experience true intimacy.
Yeah.
Right. In a friendship. So I think it's really hard for us. I think so. To the point of what we were talking about this morning of what grace does, I think the more you dive in to what Jesus did for us, the level of love and sacrifice, the more you dive into the gospel truths, the more your like sin is revealed to you, like, depth of depravity, and in that the overflow, thankfulness, in that deeping dive of like really self-reflecting of who you are, then you're like, that's where grace comes in. Like, you are able to invite other people's stories and like you're able to share your story and invite other people's stories in that are messy. And you're like, it's hard.
Yeah.
Or hey, like, right?
I mean, I've had women look at me and nobody talks to me. Nobody asks me those kind of questions. Like, where did you come from? Where have you been?
Like,
It's kind of like,
and sometimes it's like, why are you even asking? Like, why do you want to know that?
Yeah.
Because in that depth of depravity, grace is right.
Yes.
Because if you're good, then grace is just nice. But when you have that depth of depravity, is everything. It's your spot.
yeah.
Yes. What does Raina say? Like walking across the foot of the cross, unaffected.
Walking by cross.
Here it is. Like those are one of those that has pierced. Like that's what that looks like for me. That's a picture for me. I got this. Like, I mean, right? Like, sorry to hide, but
I'm glad I'm in. Actually, good.
yeah. So that's. So can you describe a specific retreat moment that still like you think about or shaped you or?
this morning.
So this morning is a big one.
This morning was
Yeah,
good.
this morning was a big one because it spoke to decades of love for you.
Yes.
And because of that platform, she was able to maybe say something hard to you that I needed to hear.
Yes.
That was good, right? Like,
Okay. Yeah.
she loved you so much that she could not
Right.
say it.
Yes. Yeah.
Literally, I think it's a timeout.
Yes.
She said,
And I said,
just
like,
Right.
right?
Know that you love me, so I need to hear it.
Against.
Yeah. And that was a hard question for me when I went over the notes and like because my first answer would be like, it's the women in the kitchen for me.
so sweet.
So like I can go back and talk about all the different teachings or take the quote from whoever, look at my notes or something that like made me think a little deeper and draw nearer to the Lord for sure. But I mean, I think this is appropriate. We're talking about friendship. And I think the first impression for me is when I walked through that food line and then you look in the galley kitchen and there's just friendship standing there and serving and loving us who they don't know, but
joy, right? Like joy coming out of that.
and I'm like,
joy.
True joy, true sacrifice. They're sacrificing so much of themselves.
And I'm like, I want a beautiful picture of what friendship looks like through the ages.
Because when I talk about this retreat, that is always a thing that comes. I'm like, and the women, the older women, they serve us, and they're so happy to serve us.
They give their matching aprons, they sing, they dance, they refill everything, they find you and bring you more food. I mean, it's just, it's extravagant.
Yeah.
It's a really and it feels like to me. It's extravagant. Yeah. I think it's a beautiful picture of how the Lord serves us too. And what, like, celebrating and having it's like a tiny shadow or foretaste of that love and joy and sacrifice. Like, right? Like, and these dance. Yeah. Is and that could, I'm 100% convinced food is going to be part of my like, food perfected.
Could you
Even as good as Jesus broke bread.
He had dinner with a lot of people, right? And gave us taste buds. So I agree.
Next question is actually, we kind of touched upon it a little bit, Lauren. But, so how do you think you navigate the differences between us? So, we have possible different opinions or life choices or church experiences or, whatever. Who we were, however long we met ago and now is different. So how do you think navigate those differences now?
I thought a lot about this question because I think it has easier than it was in the beginning. Because in the beginning, I thought I knew everything. Thought I was right.
If you had asked me a Buckle trivia question 21 years ago, I'd be like, bing, 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 Rahab. Yeah, Rahab, like whatever. And I wasn't one of gloves. And so,
I thought I knew. And then the Lord, in the ways that he does it, just chipped away at that and chipped away at that and chipped away at legalism and just chipping away at pride and chip. And this gospel awakening that started around 18 years ago and sitting in this transition to battery different and more reformed view of all of Scripture, Christ, the types of Christ through all the Old Testament, like pieces are being, the Lord's just been putting pieces together. He broke it down and he's been putting pieces back together. And what comes of that is a humility. I really don't, is as much as I think I understand the Scriptures today, there's a lot of stuff I'm wrong about. And there's a lot of stuff I don't know. And so, but 20 years ago, I didn't know that. I thought I knew it all, right? So it's easy for me today for people to make life choices that maybe isn't the choice I think I would make in the moment, because I know that God's writing that story and he's writing this story. And I'm so mature.
I was gonna say that really well.
That's for a long
But I feel like, and it doesn't mean that I don't say something potentially, or when invited in, bring my full honest heart.
Sure.
But you know,
That you even said when,
yeah,
because I would have pushed one. Yes.
for sure.
Dude, don't do it.
Think that's parenting book. I was a real even parenting is a great microcosm. I was an amazing parent before I had kids.
Oh yeah.
I mean everything.
I think I ever read this.
I was gonna be, it was gonna be, and they were gonna be, and then I had them, and I read the books, and I was like, oh, this hard, you know what I mean? And so my compassion for parents grew in my own experience of like, you're such a moron. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know, Lord's like, you're so cute. You think you know what I mean? So I think it does make it easier that we prefer different churches. We prefer different worship styles.
Yeah.
We prefer different whatever preference. Now, I would say in this group that we're talking about, in the greater group that's not even on camera, there's like ribbon spine issues. Like we all agree on spine. Like it's Jesus, man.
And it's fine.
And it's
Yeah,
and
all the
it's
time.
it's
Yeah.
grace, and it's the gospel, and it's not me. Like so, there are things. You use the ESV, and she uses the CSV. I don't care. Right? But like, I probably cared. I mean, I did care. Not
yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those are weird things. Like, let's
Yeah.
not get all
So
rustled
you
up
can
about
still
that stuff.
survive with a broken rib, but you
Yeah.
cannot walk without a spine.
I've never heard that
Yeah.
before, but
Yeah.
I'm doing that.
Well, yeah, and so I mean, there's no doubt we all stand on the same spot.
Yeah.
And so the way the Lord's working it out, like I am more comfortable in the uncomfortable the older I get. That makes sense. Like
Working out.
I don't love it. I don't love it at all. But like I don't know. There's just to be you have to know and show the Lord publicly and privately has shown me what I don't know. Right. And so like those things, heart that is softening, the spirit is softening. It's easy to just go, I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? I'm like, I love that you love the church. I love, you guys are hymn only and you guys are contemporary only. Like, so what? Now here's music, we worship. It's our heart coming before the King. Like, I mean, so I think that is actually easier.
When we were all together at the same church, having some of the conversations that we had, and we would do get debate. Healthy. I mean, to an extent. Like, I mean, but like now, we don't as much. We have a conversation. It's very different.
Say more about that. Like, or tell, you know what I mean? Like, instead of being like, how would you possibly think that? Tell me about that.
Like, let's rush down conversations with your husband.
Right. My husband that day. It was like, well,
Oh no, I don't know this.
like, you're willing this Austin word. And now that here's the really like, we need you to be friends. It was the first time we went out with them.
Four of us.
And they got into this uncomfortable debate.
Logical debate.
So mad at my husband.
And the thing is, in reality, we were uncomfortable.
They were They were totally fine.
But they're two theological guys that love talking about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they were pushing and like one line in each other, and AnnMarie and I like drinking our chips.
We are back. So it's a little bit different. We had some technical difficulties, but we're figuring it out. We're figuring it out for the last 5 minutes of the episode. Word to the wise, always make sure you have enough space on your SIM card. Moving forward.
Pro tip.
Pro tip. Anyway, so one last question, just to think about. So looking ahead, because this conversation has been about friendship over decades, right? Of who we were in our 20s and 30s and who we now are in our 40s and 50s. So looking ahead, what kind of woman do you want to become in the next decade? And how do you think these friendships can help us get there?
You really saved the hardest one for last.
I did.
I think really just grounded in his truth. Because we talk a lot about forgetting and how much we need it. And I feel like the times when we're together, we're so intimately reminded in the sweetest way possible. You know what I mean? Where you can come and be known and be loved and be safe and show up as you are, messy and everything. And so in the next 10 years, I hope that that is more and more of my story, where that reminding is more consistent and stretching. It's not so, choppy. Not that I think I'll ever arrive there on this side of heaven, but I hope that I'm more calm and more grounded, and that these kind of sweet times are more and frequent, like that becomes more of my normal instead of the in-between.
It's really good. What do you think, Ellen?
I was a little bit on the same lines, like just that there will be a contentment or a rest and a peace, and it's because we're continuing to have these conversations and foster these relationships with vulnerability and truth and transparency, honesty, all the things. So like it only makes us better, and not better because we're striving, but better like fuller, like the fullness of God, will be in here because I have people who are pouring into me or telling me truths or reminding me of his love, which I need all the time. So yeah, I guess just the fullness. I think visually I see this sweet little old lady. I'm gonna be 53, so like 10 years from now, 63. That sounds so foreign and so old in my mind. But then even 20 years, like I just want to be the sweet little lady that is sitting there that somebody will be like they just can see the joy without me even
Despite the circumstance.
opening my mouth.
Right?
That there's going, like even visually, that I present that the gospel.
Yeah. Emanate his rest.
Good
his
answer.
peace. Very good. Do you have anything?
Joyful little
Journey.
I like that idea.
Whatever.
What came to mind, what I think the next decade, life will slow down a lot for us. We'll be complete empty nesters over the next decade. And then we will be complete college graduates, by the grace of God, over the next decade. Potentially have some weddings in there over the next, if I'm thinking 10 years out. And so as the, whirlwind of the high school years make way to college years, make way to just Mark and I, that with the time that we have, that we're really intentional with that time. That we don't just, because I think real easily, he and I could play a lot of tennis. Together with our friend, whatever it may be, like we talk about it even now, like, oh shoot, this is gonna be so fun. We'll play on the mixed team and this team and that team, great. But the work is not done, right? Like it's not even close to done. And so that I will continue to find people to spend time with and pour into and just do, and primarily I work for our church. So that a major sphere of my life is our church, both as a staff and as a church member. And so, as time frees up, we don't just fill it with.
But you have to think, like I'm in a different stage right now. So I have a grandson, and so now it's almost like I've poured it into my children. I continue to pour into my adult children, but man, now I've got this almost 3-year-old little boy who like has stolen my heart all over again. And it's a very different responsibility. Like I don't have the weight of the first time parent or the mom. I'm not the mom. I'm gonna be the cool, fun grandma. Like, I just love the thought that I get to have that ministry, and that Dan and I get to disciple little ones again. And like, how cool is that gonna be? So there's that sense too, is like, I could
selfishly say like Dan and I can go do this and go do that, but like man, like it comes back to our family again, and what's the influence and the impact we're gonna have just on our growing family.
I mean, I'm doing back squats today,
Yeah.
so I could be a fun grandma.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Right.
that's important.
Yeah.
I want to be able
That's
to
a practical
play.
way.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
I want to play with my grandkids.
Yeah.
I want to have fun with
Yeah.
them, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And very, I mean, it could be in my next decade very
Yeah.
easily that that season begins. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So that's coming.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, so for me, I think because trust and rest and control I've spoken to this before, but that has been such a big theme that the Lord is working on in my life. So 10 years from now, my prayer is that when people see me, they think, oh, she trusts the Lord so much.
that's sweet.
With herself, with her kids, with Lord willing grandkids, right? Like that I allow the Lord to continue to work in that part of my heart, that I am convinced that He is continuing to bubble up to the surface for a reason, that this is what He's after, right?
Yeah.
So that when people see me, they think, oh wow, she really trusts. That's and in that extends that warm hospitality that I'm really passionate about, but it extends it out. And also as my kids get older, that extending out that same hospitality back to them, so they want to come home.
Yeah.
They want to come back, right?
sure.
That it's not just to strangers, but it's to my own family. That
Yeah.
that it's cultivating that warmth of a sanctuary for them, that they want to come back with their Lord willing spouses and kids and stuff like that. Yeah.
And their messes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
That we can welcome the messes.
Yeah.
Where we feel like we could step into that Bible study with our messes every time and feel such freedom and grace that we can create that culture in our homes for our families, friends, community.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you so much for being willing to do this. I so much appreciate it. I love you guys so much. It has been an honor becoming your friends, and you inviting me into already a decade-long friendship, that I was invited into this, and that I allowed to continue to be invited. So thank you.
Thank you.
We think you're pretty great.
Yeah.
So sorry you're stuck with us.